I thought that was it. I thought she was going, it's coming for us! And I literally was just like, I remember in the water being like, Gah! And I looked down, it was an eel. And it was coming out of one of the rock faces underneath us. And I was like, you fuck you, eel. Like, I was so mad. I was like, you just got me so worked up.
They're ready. You've been warned. It's my mom and my grandma. Good luck.
Hi, welcome to A Cup of Tea and a Laugh. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety. Go ahead, sorry.
Say something everyone has.
Some of us more than others. And I'm going to be as transparent and open as I can with everybody. Just kind of, hopefully there's somebody else out there who maybe feels like they're alone in this. And then just by me talking about my anxiety, maybe hopefully it helps somebody else. They realize they're not alone.
So what is anxiety? Anxiety is the thing that protects us. Today's world, you go to cross the street, anxiety makes you stop and think, will I get hit by that car? Is it coming fast enough, or can I run across the street and get there? Anxiety protects you. Anxiety is your friend, as long as you have control over anxiety. When anxiety starts controlling your life, that's when it's not such a great thing to have. So saying that, and my little notes here says, it's your body trying to protect you. The fight, flight, or freeze. Should you fight? Should you freeze? Or should you run like hell?
Or possum. That's what I I call it possum. Like something happens to me, and like if somebody scares you, like other people would be like, ah, and like ready to punch, or other people would be ready to scream and run. I literally go, hey! And just like freeze like a possum. And that's what I do with anxiety a lot of times. Like, ah! It's very debilitating in some events.
So one of the things that people do a lot when they have anxiety is catastrophic thinking. That is going from, if I walk outside and stub my toe, and they end up with imagining that they have to have their legs cut off. You know, and maybe not that extreme, but that is what catastrophic thinking is. So, Amber, any ideas? Have you ever had any where that's happened, where you've gone from?
I think I have general and social, but I do have moments where, things happen and it's not anything like big, but I will start to overthink it and go from kind of concerned to the worst case scenario can happen.
And that's catastrophic. Mm-hmm. You know, that's going to the worst case scenario and not stopping yourself, you know, and saying, this doesn't make sense.
And I don't think people understand too, when you have catastrophic events in your head, everybody thinks you're just thinking that these things can happen. For me anyway, and maybe other people, I believe it. Like I feel it emotionally. I'm like, nope, like this can happen. This, oh my God, that's probably going to actually happen. And I'm reacting. My body's reacting. My brain's reacting. Like it is actively happening in that moment. Like I'll start crying. I'll start having like it's very. I mean, it's not fun to admit that you have it because you sound kind of crazy. You're like, you know, but it's not every day. Like I function, you know, fine. But when there's a lot going on, like we've talked about, I'm going through a divorce right now. There's a lot of anxiety for anybody central around, you know, around a divorce. But for me, when you're trying to anticipate another person's, because I'm not going through a divorce by myself. It's me and one other person. And it is like a dance. You're constantly trying to figure out, like, I without getting into great detail, my ex told me he had to hate me in order to move on. He has to hate me.
This is not a friendly divorce.
This is not a good divorce.
What's the term they use?
It's not a high conflict divorce, but
there's conflict, for sure.
There's conflict. But basically he told me I'm not a bad person. He doesn't like think I deserve it, but he has to in order for him to move on. So there's a lot of anxiety around it because I don't just get to go in and go, okay, you know, 50-50, this is fair for me, this is fair for him. Let's split it right down the middle. I'm also dealing with somebody who mentally has to hate me in order for them to move on. And so that plays a lot of parts with it. So it has increased the anxiety. So every time I go, well, maybe if I give him this and then I keep this, you've got to...
And they have a child together. And so there's anxiety around... I mean, all parents have anxiety. Well, I shouldn't say all. Most parents have anxiety about their children. Are my kids going to get hooked on drugs? Are they going to get into gangs? Are they going to turn out good? Are they going to flunk out of school? Are they? Anxiety.
That's actually a great example because I I do going through this. I love my kid. And there are so many moments where I've had to stop myself because I'm like, no divorce is ever going to be a positive impact for any kid unless you're in a bad marriage and you don't want them to see you fighting and yelling and people putting heads through their walls and things like that. But I constantly go, is this going to affect her to the point where she's not going to be a normal human being when she gets older? Is she going to have struggles ever falling in love? Or is it going to be the opposite and she's going to literally jump into any relationship? And then my anxiety starts going. And I'm like, oh my God, how do I protect her from this? How do I show her right from wrong? Am I mentally screwing my child up by making this decision? I have spent hours at night just over analyzing the entire situation going, first off, if you have anxiety, get a therapist. Best thing ever. Yep. It really is. And I'm not saying that because you do therapy. Matter of fact, and nothing against it, if your parents are in a profession of something, you tend to kind of go, I don't know about that.
You poo-poo it.
You poo-poo it.
Especially the therapist.
And I'm not saying I poo-pooed therapy before, but I was like, in my mind, I didn't think it was wrong. There's nobody's going to be able to fix this. Like, this isn't something that can be fixed. Like this, and they can't fix it, but they can give you coping techniques and mechanisms. And even just going in and talking to somebody, because I can talk to you and it makes me feel really good all day long. But you're also my mom. And being a mom, I know, like, I can murder somebody and you would still be like, I love you. My child could murder somebody and I'd be like, okay, we're there in the body. Like,
and I will admit, yes, I'm a therapist, but I'm a mom first. So the mama bear comes out. There's a little voice in me says, this is not good advice because as a therapist, I wouldn't give this to my clients. But the mama bear is going, oh, screw that. Yeah. We're gonna say that. And so, yes, and I will say before I became a therapist, how does it sound? I didn't actually believe in therapists.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I decided I wanted to be a therapist and I went to school for it that I gained the respect for it.
And I have a phenomenal therapist. So she's really, really good. I'm so happy I found her. And sometimes she gives me advice like, hey, try these techniques. We were talking about it this last week, little techniques that I can try, like every hour, just taking a minute and either it be meditation or it be breathing technique, something that takes 2 minutes. I've been doing that and it actually is working really, really well. It just helps me. But mainly just having somebody to go to and go, like me, this motherfucker, excuse my language, but and you just go off for like an hour and then you walk away and go, I'm human. It's okay. I'm allowed to feel that.
Having somebody that can empathize with you. I mean, a lot of them with my clients, I'm right there with them. They're saying, this person did this or this person at work. And I'm going, yeah, you have a right to be angry. Mm-hmm. You have a right. But let's see if we can work at it. Let's see what's making you angry. Let's see if we can try and turn it. Our job is to try and help them not say what they're thinking is wrong, because it's not. They're feeling and thinking what they're thinking. Is to try and have them look at a different way. Yeah. Another thing with general anxiety, and just I thought about when you're saying about your daughter, parents that give their kids phones when they're young to take to school. And I've had so many parents tell me, what if the school gets attacked? What if there's an active shooter? I want my kids to be able to call me. Now, first of all, I've worked in schools. You don't want your kid on the phone calling you if there's an active shooter. You want them quiet.
Quiet.
Yeah. Second of all, what
am I going to do?
Yeah. Second, you're causing anxiety in your children. They can still call. If you need your child as an emergency, call the front office, have them run down to the classroom. It literally just takes a couple of minutes to do that. The fact that your anxiety is so high that you won't be able to get hold of your child is causing so much anxiety in children these days. It really is. And so, again, that is, yes, as parents, we worry. What if our kid gets hurt at school and they need to call us? They can go to the front office. What if somebody bullies them? What are you going to do? You need to teach them how to deal with the anxiety.
You want to protect them, but at the same time, you can't forever. They've got to learn how to do it because you won't be there 24/7.
But by protecting them, you're actually making it worse.
Yeah.
This generation, you're finding a lot of kids are scared to drive because of general anxiety.
When you were telling me that, my mind blew. I was like, there's people that don't want to drive, and then you were explaining it, and I was like, oh, okay, I thought I had anxiety, but that's,
Yeah. That is the biggest fear, I think, of any parent is losing your child.
Oh, my God, yeah. Well, that or your child suffering.
Yeah.
Like those are the two. Thankfully I don't have that. I don't have that bad. No, I just have situational, like general. And
I have a younger daughter in Germany. And one of my biggest fears is something's going to happen to her and I can't get to Germany fast enough. And during COVID, it was bad. I mean, I told my husband one time something happened, I'd be swimming the ocean trying to get to her. I might have attempted. It wouldn't have got very far.
Just imagine you being like, do you know how far you're going?
I don't even know what direction I'm going. I'm swimming.
You're just in circles.
So, yeah. Shark would come up. Fears.
You want to talk about anxiety? Sharks. My sister and her boyfriend are both marine biologists. And I love facts, and they know that. And they both did a phenomenal job. So basically, it was me, my ex-husband, my daughter, my mom, my dad, my sister, and her boyfriend. And everybody wanted to go out snorkeling. My daughter was so excited. And what I don't ever want to do is let my fear of something cause her not to do something. I am terrified of the ocean. Like, I'm that person, I'll sit on the beach all day, but if it gets above my, like, mid-calf, I'm done. And it's only because every time I get in, all I hear is dun 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 dun. And I think they've made a, like, plot against me. The sharks are all gathering around the world. Some reason my body smells the best as far as like a charcuterie board, and I am like the prime meat coming in. Like that's and I can't enjoy it because all I hear is that. But my daughter looks at me so much when we want to do it. And I told her, I was like, oh, your dad will go out with you, no problem. But, you know, Bubba's going to go with you. Auntie Brandy, they're going to go with you. And she was like, I really want you to come. And in my head, I was like, oh, fucking course you do. Like, and as a parent, I really try. I'm like, okay, you've got to suck it up. You've got to face your biggest fear because what you're about to do, and it's debilitating. I would love to go in the ocean all the time. We go on vacations and I would love to do it. And I was like, you cannot put this fear on her. Like, so I had my sister, I was like, give me some stats. She was like, okay, out of this many square mileage, there's probably one shark in the entire thing. They're more afraid of you. She's giving it to me, and I'm like, okay, I got this. And we had these like face mask snorkel things, and I'm like repeating myself. And my sister's boyfriend also has anxiety like me, which was perfect because he understood like how to talk to me. My dad and my husband at the time, gone. They're just like, they're already out swimming. My daughter's next to me. So my sister got on one side. Her boyfriend got on the other.
I stayed on the beach because we didn't have enough snorkeling.
Oh, that's right. You did. You stayed on the beach. My daughter, I've got her cling to me. Like I was going to fucking take down some great whites to protect her. But I was pretty much like surrounded by everybody. And we were doing good. I could see the water. And then as soon as it got more than 5 feet, I mean, I could feel it. My chest was tightening. I was deep breathing. And I just kept saying like, don't panic because then Evelyn's going to panic and she's going to be ruined for the rest of her life. And my sister and Jordan, they were looking at us. They were doing a really good job. And Brandy at one point said, do you want me to take Ev? And immediately the mama bear was like, nobody's fucking taking her from me because I'll kill some sharks before they get near her. Like, and I think they can see that. They're like, don't try to take Ev from her right now.
She might bite you.
Yeah. And they were like, and Brandy was trying to like, we're swimming and we'd stop. She'd be like, you doing good? And I'm like, I'm doing good. But at the same time, we're not trying to let Evelyn on. And then I remember at one point Ev like turned like excited. I thought that was it. I thought she was going, it's coming for us. And I literally was just like, I remember in the water being like, Gah! And I looked down, it was an eel. And it was coming out of one of the rock faces underneath us. And I was like, you fuck you eel. Like I was so mad. I was like, you just got me so worked up. And at one point, I can't remember. Oh, Brandy said something like, she made a signal at Jordan and he was like, yeah. And then they kind of did this thing and we kind of went around. My dad and my husband at the time like met back up with us and we're all going. And I remember, and now I've got people on either side of me behind me. And I remember thinking like all of a sudden, like, I wonder why she wanted us to like turn around kind of thing. Like, and in my brain, I went, she saw one. She saw one. She doesn't want me to know. I became an Olympic swimmer. And let me tell you, I swam so freaking fast and I had my daughter attached to me. Like I was gone. But I'm sure if you actually saw it in video, I was like going super slow, but that's how I felt. I could not have been so happy to get back on shore. And then we got on shore. I asked Brandy, I was like, did you see a shark? She's like, no, why? And I'm like, why did we turn around? She goes, well, I did say to Jordan, like, it's starting to get sunset, and that is the time that and I was like, oh, no, like, nothing happened. No shark was seen, and I'm sure even if we did, like, she was explaining the different species, and that, you know, tiger sharks, yes, those are the ones, if you see them, and if you see them, like, you just gently try to push them away, and I'm like, gently try to push them away? I'm fighting for my life, like, yeah, so that's how my anxiety will go.
It reminded me of a time when we all decided to become certified in scuba diving. Well, They did it at a pool up here. Now we are at 1 mile high, and we're in Arizona, so no oceans anywhere close. Hundreds, thousands of miles. California's closest ocean. We're in the pool. I don't know if you remember that. This one was convinced that a shark was going to be in that pool. We are in a YMCA pool.
Yeah.
A mile high.
Somehow they're going to get through the piping. Like, it's any body of water that I can't, like, see around me 360 degrees. I am just, like, I'm do. Like, I hear it.
But
And
again, that anxiety is a protection. You
Yeah.
know, because we can't see what's in the water. We can't see. So anxiety will feed into that.
Yeah.
I have a phobia of dentists. You will not get me into a dental office because of an experience.
As a child, I had to go to my dentist appointments by
She did.
myself.
I used to
I
have
had braces and headgear, and so every month I'd be like, you know,
I would tell them, this isn't the dentist's fault. This is my issue, but you have to go in, because I knew if I went into the dentist with them, my anxiety would peak so high.
Yeah.
I'd break out in tears and cold sweats and the whole thing, and then they would get it. So as a parent, we have to not, like she said, not allow our own anxiety to, influence
affect
our children.
Yeah.
So, so there's general anxiety. We did talk about that, and I'm going to hopefully put up little banners in this thing. So general anxiety feels like everything is a problem. You wake up fine, your brain says, what if it isn't fine? Like it's having 47 tabs open, not knowing where the music is coming from.
Yep.
Social anxiety is worrying about what you said, how you sounded, how you looked, replaying conversations from days ago where the other person forgot it ever happened.
And I have social anxiety as well, especially going through this divorce. Like, I'll have friends reach out to me. It's not that I'm reaching, and they go, hey, I haven't seen you a couple of days. Let's go for a walk. Let's go do something. I want to check in on you, say how you're doing. And again, just really good friends being there and being good people. And then I'll go over there and I will start to tell them like frustrations or things that are going on or how I'm feeling. And I immediately feel myself shut down. And I immediately feel myself replaying, like, I shouldn't have told them that. Not because I'm afraid they're going to like say something, because I feel like I'm overwhelming people around me. I'm like, they don't need to hear this. And I immediately don't want to talk anymore. I shut down. I want to go home and sit by myself. Another, like, going to the bar. Like, a lot of people like to go out to a brewery. I'm too old to go to bars, but my age people like to go to breweries, have dinner, have a drink with some friends, and then that's it, right? I enjoy it. It's really hard to explain. I enjoy it, but before I go, I will almost cancel on you 90% of the time because I have anxiety about if I go, and I know I say this out loud and I know it sounds stupid, but do they actually want to go with me because they enjoy being around me? Or is it they feel bad for me, so they're inviting me? And I know for a fact it's because they're my friends and they want to be around me and they want to enjoy it. But I go, or what happens if like one of my friends sees somebody they know and I don't know and they don't like me and they don't want to hang out with me and then I ruin everybody's night. It sounds ridiculous, but that's something, and you have to talk yourself out again, like kind of like getting in the water.
Yeah.
Like, no, my friends want to see me, but the entire time you're enjoying it, but it's always in the background playing. Like,
and I know some
do they like being around me right now?
And I know some people with social anxiety, they're afraid. They're afraid if they go out in big crowds, they get overwhelmed. What if I make a fool of myself? What if what if I panic attacks? Panic attacks are weird things. There's usually no warning. There's no buildup. With anxieties, you start kind of small and it escalates. A panic attack can come out of nowhere. People often think they're having heart attacks. You break out in a cold sweat. Your heart starts racing. It hits really fast. I have an example. We had a dear friend. It was my youngest daughter's best friend. She was killed a few years ago, and it was on the radio quite a bit. From the day she was kidnapped, we knew. Her mom called us the day she was killed. And so this has been going on probably about 2 or 3 years. One day I was driving home from work, and they mentioned her on the radio. And like I said, I don't have a lot of anxiety. And I had to pull over, and I just screamed. And I screamed. I was hitting my steering wheel, and I screamed. I had a panic attack. It's the first one I've ever had. I thought, and I was a therapist, I thought, I need a therapist. And so I went and had this thing, which I would recommend anybody with trauma. It's called EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing. I went, and I'd been trained in it. And so I went to a therapist and I had that done. And that helped me immensely. Panic attacks are scary as hell. And even as a therapist, when clients tell me they have a panic attack, I'll say, well, can you think of how it started? And that's usually my indication. If they say no, then it was panic attack. It wasn't anxiety. Now, sometimes anxiety can then go into a panic attack because they let themselves catastrophic thoughts and they let themselves go there and then they panic. But panic attacks usually don't have a thing that comes first. The other thing is health anxiety. Health anxiety is when someone sees, and Google is not your friend for this.
I have a mole.
I have
It
a mole.
looks weird. It's a weird color. Let me Google it. Let me put it into, ChatGPT. And then sometimes, occasionally, moles with discoloration or irregular lining on the outside can mean malignancy. And then they go off and they're convinced they got cancer.
They got 3 months to live.
They've got 3 months to live. Yeah, it gets really...
Yeah. So, and that happens. I've had clients in the past that because their father died of cancer, they are convinced they're going to die of cancer.
And there's a difference between somebody, and everybody has this. My mom's had cancer. I am concerned that one day I might have skin cancer. So I am hypervigilant and I watch my moles. I go to a dermatologist, which, speaking of my ADHD, I need to make that appointment. You have a concern. Everybody does.
And you should. That's responsible.
People with this are convinced they have cancer, and they are going to die in 3 months. They will start doing things they'll start getting their affairs in order.
Yep.
They will start making sure their living will is up to date. They tell family members, I have cancer.
They will go to several doctors, get different opinions because they're convinced that the doctor doesn't know what they're talking about. Second opinions can be good, but when you've had 3 or 4 or 5 and they've done everything and said there's nothing wrong with you, you do have to look, is it your own anxiety that's causing this?
Yep.
So that is the other form, is the health anxiety. Keep in mind, general anxiety worries about everything. Social anxiety worries about people and what they think of you. Panic hits out of nowhere. And health anxiety turns Google into a horror movie. Talking about all this anxiety, what is it that you do to help you with your anxiety? What helps you? And everybody's different.
I've had to do multiple things because something that'll work one week won't work the next week. So number one, get a therapist, because they do. They can give you the techniques. They can give you some guidance on how to handle it. Having friends and family to talk to. When I start getting really elevated, I'll talk to you guys. Another thing I do is it depends on the time of the day, but I notice my anxiety will get worse and heightened based on things I'm reading and watching. Meaning if I'm watching or reading, I love murder, mystery novels, things like that. I love, what's the one show me and my daughter got addicted to?
Oh, the one where they had to find who the guilty
who the murderer is kind of thing. Anyway, I have to choose positive shows. So I'll watch Kara and Nate. They're one of my favorite YouTubers, and traveling around. Things that are uplifting and positive, I will distract myself. I'll watch a show one of their shows. I'll watch The Bucket List Family. Love to watch them. Stuff that's super positive, I have to do that. I've done meditation. But some things you can't do, you can't predict when it's going to happen. So sometimes, if I'm in the middle of the workday and something happens, I can feel myself. I can't just sit there and be hold on a second and zen yourself in. So I've tried tapping. We've worked with that. We are trying right now. Me and her just talked about this week about every hour, pick it on the hour, just take 2 or 3 minutes where, if you're at your desk, meditation. Trader, that's the show. Sorry. Traders.
Traders.
Yeah. Doing meditation, tapping, humming. She was talking about is when I'm starting to get elevated, it's my flight or fight is starting to kick in. Other people have pretty even. Mine is like this. So I have to get myself back to center so that I realize I'm not in danger. I'm not about to die. This isn't going to be a catastrophic thing, but I have to do things to get to that point. And you would thinking about the thing that's making you more stressed out and talking yourself down will work. It doesn't. So you have to distract yourself. Doing things like the tapping, the meditation, humming, because I guess something about when you're humming, that actually helps. Something about the right side of the brain, it helps bring it down. But distracting yourself essentially is what it is. A lot of times I will, the last 2 days, I kind of retreated, meaning I went to work, nobody would know anything was wrong, and then I would leave work and I'd go home, put my PJs on, and lay in bed for just 2 days straight. I didn't have my daughter. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. And then I knew I've dealt with it so long. I know when I'm having bouts, because you also have anxiety and depression that comes with it. They come hand in hand.
They're not always together.
They're not always together.
But they do seem to come together a lot.
Yeah, so I know when those signs are coming, and I know what I need to do. And so the first thing I did was call my therapist, asked her if she had an appointment available, and she did. Her and I talked about it. And then it's even though you don't want to go hang out with people, you need to be around humans. Humans need to be around other humans at times. And so I came over here, we went out to dinner, and it helped. And then coming up with game plan.
And I tell people, as weird as it sounds, breathe. People go, I breathe all the time. It's like anxiety is kicking in. You're hyperventilating. You're taking very short breaths. And so if you take deep breaths, it causes your brain, your amygdala and I can't think of the other part of the brain. I've been trying to think of, basically one part of your brain will say, and I'm going to, when I edit this, I will put the names in here so you will see which two parts. There's your fight or flight part of your brain. I think that's the amygdala. And it says, danger, danger, Will Robinson, get the hell out of here, you're in trouble. There's the thinking part of your brain. And so when you go into an anxiety, the animal part of it takes control. So by deep breathing, what you're doing is you're telling your, you probably know,
Hypothalamus?
Yes, I think that's the one. Again, I'll put it in here. It's saying by the deep breathing, your body's going, we're fine, we're cool. And your body tells your brain this, and your brain goes, oh, everything must be okay. So then it tells the amygdala, calm down, everything's cool. And it does really work like that. And so if you can take some deep breaths and just calm your body and calm your brain, you can take control of the anxiety. And so breathing is super, super important. I'll tell people, look around the room and name 5 things.
Oh, that's one that works really good. Yeah, looking around the room and doing 5 things you see, hear, or feel.
Yep.
Because it distracts you.
If you are in the moment, present in the moment, you cannot have anxiety. You cannot have depression. Depression is the past, worrying about what happened. Anxiety is very general. Anxiety is worrying about the future. And so if you're in the present, you can't think of the past or future because you're in the present.
That's the other thing that actually helps me. I can't remember if you told me or somebody else, but when I start getting really, really worked up, I just have to remind myself to do it, is to sit there and go, if I knew the answer to solve this problem right now, is there anything I could do right now in this moment? Not tomorrow, not 2 days from now, but even if I had the answer, could I do something to resolve this right now? 99.9% of the time, I can't. It's not anything I actually have control over. And it's coming to that realization that I'm not controlling this and I can't do anything about it right now, but what I can do is this, this, and this. And I try to refocus it to things I can control. To give an example, like high anxiety about how I was dealing with something with another person and how they were going to respond to it or react. It was a conflict situation. And instead of going, I can't control that other person, but what I can control is I can now go step inside. I can look at my schedule. I can see if there's anywhere I can plan for this and then release that control of I can't control them kind of thing. And it helps, but you have to remember to do it in the minute.
And that's also remember what you do have control of. You can control what you say. You can control how you react. You cannot control what they say.
Yeah.
You cannot control how they react or actions they take. And so once we realize that we cannot control other people, called radical acceptance in DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, type of therapy, radical acceptance means you will accept it no matter what. And people say, well, no, I've accepted it. No, you haven't. No. Because in your brain, you're still thinking, but if I do this different or if they do this different, acceptance is acceptance.
One thing that drives me nuts about people who don't have anxiety is that there's 2 perceptions, and there's probably more, but there's 2 that really get to me. And one, people think that people with anxiety, the reason they have it is because they're control freaks and they want to control everything and how it goes. It's the exact opposite. I would love to just feel like I don't need to have control over anything or answers to anything. The only reason we come off as needing control is because that's the only thing that we are, until we get really good, that we feel like we can reduce our anxiety, if that makes sense. But people who have anxiety are really not. And the other thing that gets on my nerves is people that don't have anxiety perceive about people with anxiety is that they cannot function in life. I'm successful. I do really well in life. I'm a good mom. I've got a good career. But I have high functioning anxiety. And people they imagine people with anxiety curled up in a corner, just rocking back and forth, and that they can't handle things in life and they can't go forward and they can't move forward. And it's like, no, it's harder for me every single day when I face challenges or face this than it would be for anybody else. Doesn't mean I can't do it, just means I have to do more to get through that.
And there's situational anxiety. You put her in an emergency situation where other people might freak and panic. She's
fine.
Wonderful with it. It's situational. It doesn't mean just because you're anxious about, this in your life, you're going to be anxious about everything. That's not it. Mm-hmm. So there's often, like I said, dentists with me, very situational.
And I will say this briefly. There are people out there who if they know that you react certain ways to certain situations, they will take advantage of it, and they will
Gaslight you.
gaslight you, and they will say things knowing it'll affect you a certain way just to benefit them. And unfortunately, I had somebody in my life like that. And the reason I say that is the longer they're in your life, the worse your anxiety will get.
Yep.
And that's all I'm going to say to that. So make sure you surround yourself. If somebody is making no matter how much you enjoy having that person or that friend or whoever they are, if they're making your anxiety worse, other people might love being around that person, but it's not healthy for you. You've got to recognize, and that's something I have to recognize going forward with friends, relationships, whatever it is. If they're causing it to be worse, and it was a hard thing for me to realize, it's not a me issue. Because I keep associating my anxiety as my problem. And it's my problem to find solutions and how to get out of it. But one of those is also surrounding yourself with people who don't make it worse.
It's being able to set boundaries too.
Yeah. That's a great,
Yeah, you've got to be able to set boundaries. This was serious. We do plan on getting it more lighthearted moving forward.
Yeah.
So saying that,
serious.
as the sun has gone down, our tea is drank, and we've about talked your ear off. So we're going to close it down for tonight. This is from me.
And thank you, everybody, for listening, being open to hear people, and being more accepting of other people around you, and allowing me to be vulnerable in a space.
So have a good one, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.